What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy it's a great week. We are back with the final episode of Daredevil Born Again. I'm just going to give my overall thoughts about this particular episode because I will do an overall season 2 kind of review over the next few days and have that up for you. But I mainly just want to give my thoughts about this episode. I think episode 10 is not episode 10, I'm sorry, episode 8, because there's only 8 episodes. I thought this was, at least to me, probably the best episode of the entire season 2. Probably maybe even the entire series of season 1 and season 2 of Born Again. We get such a great performance by both Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio in the courtroom. And basically, Matt reveals, which I'm curious. Now, I can, you know what? I'll say that. I'll say it in a second. But Matt reveals that he is Daredevil because part of it is like, all right, we have the testimony of the first mate of the Northern Star, but obviously we know he's dead. There's nobody to corroborate that. But there is. Everybody else doesn't know. The only people who know is Matt, Karen, and Fisk. And there was in Matt's like there was you and I both know there was another part who know who Daredevil is and everything, and Fisk is just looking at him like, do you really want to go down this road and everything? And Matt turns around and is like, I'm Daredevil. And you have Holbrook who's like, there's no way you're Daredevil, and he's just being ridiculous, and Matt just throws his walking cane, it bounces like his batons and he catches it, and everybody's just like, oh, shock and gas. But like you could tell throughout the conversation through the whole courtroom scene as Matt and Fisk are talking and Matt starts to, push even further on Fisk about the Northern Star. You can look on Karen's face like as she's realizing she knows what Matt is doing. And the trial basically gets dismissed because the trial did like the court was set up under the premise of vigilante terror, basically terrorism. Um, but since the mayor had been running illegal arms and they'd been doing illegal activity, the court they don't the trial has to be dismissed. They're not because this is not it's a criminal course. It's not I guess the best way to say it. But obviously this episode gets crazy because after the whole courtroom scene, I remember how I mentioned how the real Bullseye Poindexter shows up and takes out a lot of the task force guys. So I guess I don't know who they were gonna try to target. I don't think they're gonna try to target Fisk. I guess maybe Matt or something. I'm not sure who their target was, but obviously, as they're getting ready to leave, the governor is there with Jessica Jones. Um, and she's like, resign now. Um, and it's just Fisk just like standing his ground. He's just like, I suggest you get that process and the paperwork started. And they've frozen his assets, they've taken control of everything, and it's just it's the end game for Fisk, plain and simple. It is the end game for Fisk, but to him, not so much. So they're all getting ready to basically like walk out of the courtroom when Powell was like, you hear him like say, take the shot, and then Matt picks that up, and then you hear Bullseye, he's like, wrong Bullseye, and it looked like Matt was like, no, you don't want to do like stop. I guess he was trying to stop Buck from drawing his weapon and getting in front of the door or something, because as soon as he starts to move, draw his weapon, Bullseye takes a shot, and he hits Buck. Now I don't even know if Buck dies in this episode. Like it wasn't really clear. He was. I think he does. Let me see. It was hard to tell. It was really hard to tell if he died or not. Um, Let me see real quick. Get back it up to there. Um, yeah, it's really hard to tell. So the whole courthouse gets put on lockdown. Um, Fisk goes on TV talking, trying to spin the story and get New York on his side and everything to start a war. Um, but that doesn't happen. You have BB coming out with her evidence because obviously people listen to the BB report. Okay, so obviously these New Yorkers are probably going to believe more of what she says compared to what Fisk says, and she basically tells them Fisk has been lying this entire time. He's been locking up their friends and family. He's been doing all this illegal activity, and it gets the crowd riled up, and they go marching the on the courthouse, and you get a little confrontation between Mahoney, Cherry, and Powell, Cole, and the task force guys. And Cole's just kind of like, I'm surprised he took down Powell because Powell's like, shoot. He ordered Cole to shoot Cherry. And then, but Angela shows up and she's just kind of like talking about, Hector, what happened to him and everything. And Cole is like, you told me, that was a little weird because it was like, you told me he pushed cops off a platform, and Hector's wife shows up and he's like, my husband will never harm police or anything like that. And meanwhile, you got Powell is just kind of like shoot the kid and everything like that. But Cole is able to just, knock him out, and he lets the crowd go into the building. They don't stand in the way, and they're just coming in. They're talking about they want Fisk, and where's Fisk, and they are just looking for him. Meanwhile, Matt and Jessica are taking on some task force guys in the hallway. Um, just total chaos. Meanwhile, Sheila gets a call from the attorney general. They want Fisk to resign, renounce his citizenship, and leave. And they won't do any kind of prosecution or anything like that. Fisk does not take that. He strictly goes and he is on a warpath. It was insane. He's like, he tells him to open the door, and like you have he opens the door. There's like crowds of people banging on the door, and he's like, boo. And he starts killing people. Like it was one punch and everything, and it was such carnage just watching it just go down like that. He was just demolishing these people. Like these people were even freaking scared. Like they did not want a piece of him, and he just took them out like it was nothing. Um, it does convene in the at the staircase of the courthouse inside, where Matt, Jessica, and Karen have the entire city of protesters behind them. Fisk is standing by himself, just suit covered in blood and everything like that. And the protesters go, they take matters in their own hand. They go to and they try to beat Fisk and everything. I don't know. They may have tried to kill him too, maybe perhaps, but they were just whipping on him, and Fisk was still fighting. Matt and Jessica trying to jump up there, trying to get them to, stop. This is not the way. This is not how we do it. Um, and Matt's like, we got to stop. We got to stop. Take the deal. Leave New York. Obviously Fisk is reluctant to, but eventually he agrees to take the deal, and that bygones be bygones, if you want to say that. But so he does take the deal. I'm not sure what the time frame is, with how many weeks passed or whatever, but we do see Matt and Karen just hanging out in like a little, I guess, diner, if you want to say. Police do show up and they do arrest Matt, which is not really surprising. They arrest Matt to take him away. You got Jessica. Looks like they have moved back to New York potentially. Luke Cage, we knew he was gonna make an appearance because of the leaks and everything like that. So we knew he was gonna be back into it. Um, and Luke mentions that Charles found somebody else, and that somebody else was obviously Bullseye. And so I'm glad he didn't die, because I really like the actor and I really like the character of Bullseye in this Daredevil overall series. Um, so it's curious to see on what happens with that with season three, because we do know season three is either in production or it has finished production. I can't remember which one it was, but and then I talked about it last week with Heather, Dr. Glenn, how leaks that came out and rumors were going that she was going to become a female muse, and we basically get that confirmation here, which I don't even like her. Like, it's just, don't really like the character, don't really like her at all, but she's going to be set up to be a villain. I don't know if she'll be the villain for season 3 of Daredevil Born Again, but she's going to be a villain. You would have to assume Fisk comes back in some way, shape, or form. Um, in season 3, I doubt they'll do a Daredevil season without Fisk in some way. But I mean, overall, I just mainly wanted to give my thoughts. I know I didn't do much of a deep dive into the episode 8. I kind of just wanted to save most of my stuff for the overall review of season 2 of Born Again. But I definitely feel like this was probably the best episode out of the entire season, probably even out of both seasons of Born Again. Um, I don't know if it had some moments where it definitely felt like the Netflix version, and a lot of people say you shouldn't, they're two different things. You shouldn't really compare it, but when you have something that was considered, not, I don't want to say masterpiece, but something so good as the Netflix version, it's hard. Whatever you make, it's hard to live up to that. I don't, I think was there anything else in this episode? Let me see. Just scroll right here through real quick just to see. I am curious about how this is going to shape out with people knowing Daredevil's identity. I've never been a fan of like people knowing the superhero's identity and stuff like that. So I'm curious on if that will change when Marvel goes and does their reset. Like, will they retcon a lot of the stuff that we saw throughout this pre this pre MCU before they kind of after Secret Wars reset everything. So um, I am going to be curious about that in that regard. But that is basically it, guys. Just want to do a quick little thought analysis, not analysis, but give my thoughts about episode of Daredevil Born Again. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button, comment below. Tell me what you guys thought about it. What did you guys think about the entire season? We'd love to hear your thoughts. But thank you again for hanging out. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.